Good morning. It is Sunday. It is 10:30 a.m. and that means it is time for Sunday Club, which is a weekly live stream where every week we stream some Ruby on Rails and we kind of build a Ruby on Rails app along together, or certainly we look at the different aspects of the app that we are attempting to build. I'm going to look at how we would approach different things and different technologies within Rails. And it's a pretty casual look at those things. The app that we work on every week is will eventually become an app where people can sign up for a user account. They can put in an ID, like a YouTube channel ID, for example, and the app will pull down all of their videos, and then we'll build a basic web page of all of those videos, build a little mini website, and hopefully we're going to get Twitch working as well. And then they can edit that kind of little mini website, mini web page that it builds. So welcome along. So we've got a little bit of follow-up, some stuff I've mentioned before this week. One thing is I am giving a talk about this channel at London Ruby Users Group tomorrow evening, 6:30, I think, UK time. It's lrug.org. So I will pop a link in the video description, but it's lrug.org. So feel free to come along to that and discover how I do this every week. I mean, there's not a lot to it. You basically just turn up and do it. As anyone who's watched more than one stream knows, there's not a lot of work that goes into it in the midweek. What is the rest of the follow-up? I think that's about it. I think the talk is the follow-up that I wanted to mention. What we're looking at this week, more importantly, turbo streams. Let's go back because 5 or 6 streams ago, we looked at turbo and getting turbo up and running in this app. So we did a stream looking at turbo frames, which is where you build out your Rails forms and all the views and stuff that goes around them. We built them out as a normal application, so it would re-render in the browser every time you'd click, edit, and it would show you the edit view, and it would change the whole browser. Then you would make your changes, click save, and then it would re-render the whole thing again. We put turbo frames around that, and we created a kind of dynamic form within a single view without rendering the entire browser, without re-rendering the entire view every time. Amazing. Had a crazy productive stream with turbo frames. Next week, we looked at using turbo streams, which is a different, which is different. And we're going to come on to the details of that today. So last week, we looked at ActionCable and got way further than I thought we would in 1 week. And we were able to have a change on the server, make a change in the user interface, and we used subscriptions as the example. So when I clicked the subscribe button in the app, we then had the number of subscriptions go up. The little integer just incremented, and that came from the server. So we had that running. Now, I think what we learned last week, or what certainly I was learning, was the ActionCable, kind of the nomenclature and all of the wording and how that ecosystem works. And I think hopefully that might plug some gaps on where I was missing things when we were looking at turbo streams, because I had never done anything around kind of ActionCable or anything like that before. So that was my first dive into it last week. So what I'm wondering is if, based on now having something in ActionCable working, if we can move back to turbo streams and get something working there, see what we missed, and kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive, because last time there was lots of reading docs and just like rootling around a bit to see what was going on. That's what we're going to do today. I think we're going to stick with that kind of subscription-y style functionality, maybe just do the same functionality again, but with turbo streams. So let's go and take a look. And for anyone who noticed, I also popped in the video description, I'd love to take a look at ActiveStorage. If we don't get to it this week, I'd kind of like to see where we get to with turbo streams. But I still haven't used it because every project I work on has a gem. So it's usually either Carrier Wave or Paperclip, which is now deprecated. And I've looked at using ActiveStorage a couple of times on different projects, but the CDN sitting on top of them, when I first went to look at using them, the story around that wasn't amazing. So it was actually not too easy to get your CDN to serve the images and things like that. I think that has now been improved, and there's now compatibility and things like that in Active Storage. So I'd love to dive into that and take a look next week, or at the end of this week if we smash this TurboStream stuff. Okay, so let's this is our Git repo up on the screen at the moment. Let's see what we got to last week. So so I haven't done any tidy up. If you're coming to this stream having watched the talk that I give on Monday, and hopefully I got across that this is not always the most organized. I haven't done any of the tidy up, so all of the borders are still on our divs from last week, trying to get the Flexbox stuff looking right. So we had our number over on the right hand side, and this is our UI. So this is our web page for our YouTube channel at the moment. But I mean, it works. We went and got the videos from YouTube, and we have a little web page. What more do you want? Okay, so when I click the subscribe button over here on the left, this number up here in the right went up by 1, and that was ActionCable magic. Let's go and take a look at what actually was powering that before I click on the button. So let's close all of this stuff down. Okay. Or we can take out these logging things now. Okay. So this is all from last week. So we can see the code is a little bit messy, but we kind of get the gist. So if you remember a couple of streams ago, we had we installed our notice gem to get our notifications working, and that's what this line is doing. So we basically came up with this type of notification, this new subscription notification when someone subscribed to a channel, and we then delivered that, and we associated it with the current user. Now what this line did is we created this channel. I haven't reread this from last week, so it's actually helpful for me to go back over. We created this channel, which was the web notifications channel, and it had stream for current user. Okay, I don't remember the details of that, but I think that just came out of the tutorial we were following. And then there was a corresponding channel in JavaScript channels. So this is the application cable channel. And then in here, we then have the kind of channel represented as in JavaScript. And this was the handler for the subscription, right? So this was the handler for the subscribe to the channel, which is very confusing. Yes. This is all coming back to me from last week because we had a, this makes me laugh every week, we had an event that represented subscribing to a channel, and the way that we were defining that was by creating a subscription to a ActionCable channel. It was all very confusing. So anyway, this is when this channel receives data, the web notifications channel, what should it do with the data that it receives? And what it does is it went to find a DOM element, test_count, then we just added an ID to one randomly. And we changed its text content to the unread notifications from the data hash. And I think the data hash is what we passed here, yeah. So when we then actually have broadcast to, that was saying broadcast to the current user, and the current user knew which one it was from here. And then, oh, don't need that. Pass the data that you want it to pass to the front end. So remember, this is happening at the controller level. And then we had unread notifications, and then we passed it this integer. So this received that hash and grabbed the data and replaced it. And that looked like, click subscribe, and this went up by 1. And if you remember, this subscribe button doesn't switch to unsubscribe because we haven't put it in a turbo frame or handled any JavaScript or anything. So this is doing, yeah, okay. So I think that's why there's a head here, because if we do the redirect, that won't work. So this could become something like a turbo frame response and pass the button back or something like that. Maybe we'll get to that today. If you can hear music playing, it sounds like one of my neighbors. has just started playing really loud music. Oh, no, I think it's someone in a car outside. Okay, so let's go and take a look at getting this working. Okay, so I'm just looking at the other screen for a second. Bear with me. So what do we want to do with TurboStream? So I don't know is the answer to the question. So what I was hoping for is at the moment, we have to do a translation layer between the data. Translation layer is poor wording, but like we have to do some work to send some data to the front end and then have JavaScript do the work to show that data. Like here we have to actually pass the unread notifications and then get it to show the correct number. What if we didn't have to do that? And I think I'm still a little bit fuzzier on it, but I think the TurboStream's promise is that we can do the same thing we did with Turbo Frames, which is where we give it the view partial that we want to show, and when we trigger the action, it will say, "Oh, okay, great. I know what to do. I'll go and get the view partial that I need, and then I'll show it." So I think that's what we want to do. And what could that be? Perhaps instead of just passing this integer here as a little as a single piece of data, we actually pass this this number here, this whole section. You know, maybe we put a little div in here, and maybe that's the partial that goes up, or something like that. So let's see what we can do. Let's go back to where we got to. So this was the TurboStreams section that we looked at. I'm not going to go deep on these because we have looked at this in the previous stream. So you might want to start there and come back to this if you're looking at TurboStreams. So the TurboStreams message is a fragment of HTML consisting of TurboStreams elements. That's the element there. The stream message below demonstrates the 5 possible stream actions. So append, prepend, replace, update, and remove. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and do a replace. With an ID. So I'm let's see if we can do a replace. Note that every TurboStream element must wrap its included HTML inside a template element. You can render any number of stream elements in a single stream message from a WebSocket. Any number of stream elements in a single stream message. Turbo knows to automatically attach TurboStream elements when they arrive in response to form submissions that declare a MIME type. So I'm just reading through this. So where is... I should typically reduce the message. Stream actions. So we've got our interaction working without TurboStreams. Make the entire application work as if it would. So we've done the same approach there. So let's... I was then reading this on the TurboStreams helper. Return a new TurboStream object that accepts stream actions. When responding to HTTP requests, controllers can declare TurboStream format response templates in that same style as HTML and JSON response formats. For example, consider a messages controller that responds to both text HTML and TurboStream HTML, along with TurboStream ERB action template. When an app views messages TurboStream template exists, message control cable will respond to this by rendering the messages create TurboStream view template and transmitting the response. So in the controller that we were using here, maybe this isn't a great example because we were just performing an action here and responding. So maybe actually this is a good ActionCable. But is there a perception that because you're using ActionCable, do you use ActionCable and TurboStreams next to each other, or does one replace the other? I think that's one of the things I'm interested in. So let's say that let's make this a bit more similar to what's happening here. So let's say we had, what are we creating here? Notification subscriptions controller. So then in views, let's just see if we can replicate some of this stuff. I'm going to dig in probably a bit more than we normally do on these streams, just try and get some stuff working. So let's get a bit messy this week rather than just reading docs and stuff. So let's go and make a TurboStream.erb file. So in views messages, so what are we in? Notification subscriptions. So let's try this. I just want to see if we can get this coming back over the wire. And what did it call it? Create. And messages. Okay, so is all of that within this create? TurboStream append. Okay, but let's just keep going. So then we're gonna in here have this, and then in here notification subscriptions. Kind of just guessing at this point. And here we've created a notification subscription. So we do have an object to pass. I don't think this is a good example of what we're trying to achieve here, but when a app views messages create something like this, message called create will respond to this request by rendering this and transmitting the response. So now in here, are we saying that this would work? Let's only add the TurboStream one. Okay, so what are we getting back over the wire now? So what I've done there is create a view which has the TurboStream ERB extension file type, and in here we've then told it what to do. TurboStream.append, and then I think that's the div, that's the thing it will look to append to, so there needs to be a corresponding ID on the page of that. And then that's my loopback thing. And then this is the object it will pass it, so we could use that in the view itself. And then I think it will therefore look, I think it will look for a partial in here called notification subscription. Is that correct? Yeah, okay, so then it would be underscore notification subscription. So this is actually probably a really bad example of this functionality, but I'm just trying to get, and then what was the, is that just a standard view partial? Yeah. Yeah, then this would be Wonder if I'm on the right path here. Because I think last time we didn't try and make these and try to do it on the controller. Okay, and so something in here we don't really care what. We can just put I am the notification subscription partial. We don't really care what that is. That's just some HTML that we think we want to append to this thing with this data. And I think that this, means that we could use this notification subscription in this partial. Ooh, okay. So can we have a DOM element on the page that gets appended to? So presumably that's normally dynamic, like new or, yeah, okay. So it's normally something like this, DOM ID message. Can we give it a fixed ID? Does it have to use DOM ID? Because it wouldn't have anything to append to otherwise. What does the messages one have? Does this one append to messages? Where does it get the div ID messages? Is that automatically done when you say collection? Let's just give that a try. So let's give ourselves a div. Let's do it on the channels show, which is I think the one we're looking at. So let's give ourselves a div here. We're making even more of a mess, so I do apologize to I mean, it was already messy before, but let's there's like a margin top thing, wasn't there? Oh God. So I just want like a large margin. I just want to see, it's like M, right? It's M-12. That would just be a big space around it. And then in here, well, we can say div ID, and that can be notification subscriptions. So I think it's going to try and put stuff in here. Well, we might screw that up, but let's not worry too much about that. We can kind of work away on the errors. And so we're still just playing around to try and get something working. Okay, so we can let's hide that because we don't. So that's our action cable, which we know works. Let's just ditch that for now. We're going to make a new notification subscription. We'll still send the notifications. We'll still add that to the. Maybe this could be it. Maybe we could use that and make this notification or something. But then I think that we're actually calling .deliver on that, so that wouldn't. I don't think that would give us back an instance of the notification. Maybe it would. Right. What happens if I hit this button now? What? And by this button I mean this subscribe button. So let's refresh here and bring up our server, which is running in the background over here. Okay. So hopefully this is readable. Bump that font size up a little bit. So when we hit this, what is going to happen? We're going to go and make a notification as usual, but then we're going to try and respond to that with format TurboStream. And what I am wondering is, because there is a corresponding view in views, notification subscriptions, create, I think that I'm hoping it will grab this. And I'm thinking this will try and append this to this DOM ID. And I mean the literal DOM ID, not the new Rails fancy thing. Let's see what happens. Can I put these? Actually, don't need this to be that wide, do I? Just put that there. Pop this over a little bit. I know my face is covering the corner of that, but hopefully we can still see it. Something happened. Okay, what happened? I'm not 100% sure I'm there. Started. Wait, where's the actual... Okay, I totally am not sure where our actual click went there. Because that's the get. I'm probably missing it. Where's the post for the create? Okay, let's give that another try. Let me just clear this out. Whoa! We have a very large I am the notification pile which has been appended. Oh my god. Something has happened. Totally happened. Why didn't it happen the first time? What's happening? Not gonna lie, pretty excited by that because I was just kind of guesswork. Okay, what have we got in our logs here? Okay, so we did do where was our post the first time? Had the page not finished rendering? I think maybe I clicked it and it actually hadn't finished. I think it was still doing the re-rendering. There's no started post in here, I don't think. Started get. Yeah, I think it was still doing its re-rendering. I don't think I actually clicked the button. Wait, so now if I click this again, is this going to append another one of these? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, magic. Hey, Finian. Oh my god, Finian's was... Hey, you're awake. Hello, Finian. Finian is one of my favorite people and is... for some reason watching Rails live streaming, what I'm guessing is very late at night where he is in the world. The previous one was destroy. The previous one was the destroy. Oh, did I have the unsubscribe button on? Oh, did I not click? No, it's... Oh, and I've got to do this. Someone complained at me this week. They said if you only do one thing on this week's stream, can you please fix the typo on the unsubscribe button? And I never even look at it. Unsubscribe. Right, Evandro, that is the thing I have done for you this week. So if you come back and watch this stream, you are welcome. I remembered the typo. Okay, so... Oh, look at this. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, crap, I just clicked the edit button. Okay, that's okay. So then if we refresh, that's all gone. Oh, so it was unsubscribe. Subscribe. Oh, okay, so what does unsubscribe do now? I've forgotten what we did in the controller there. So unsubscribe should redirect. Oh, there we go. It's doing its thing. Why did that not work first time either? So if I subscribe, that's happening. That's happening. Great. Then when I refresh, I've been subscribed. I click unsubscribe. The first one fails. Okay, what's happening on that first one? And then I click it again and it'll work? What? Okay, I'm totally missing what's happening there. So I actually can't remember what's powering those buttons either. So if notification user has active subscription 4, buttons to unsubscribe, notification on subscriptions path, method delete, class button. So that should just go straight there, and then that should just redirect straight back. The unsubscribe destroy doesn't trigger the stream partial, as I believe that was only for create. Yeah, so why isn't it just doing the redirect and coming straight back? One of the things I'm aware of for chat here is there's like a lag. Is it still trying to generate a turbo stream output for that? Like when I actually hit it, there, I'm getting started delete. Like it's just a normal delete request. But why didn't I get that on the first click? Am I being really dense here? Let me, oh, stupid thing. So I don't think I'm following the logs properly. So here I get a full turbo stream. Yeah, okay. So that was only for create. I totally agree with that. Create.turbostream.erb triggers here. On destroy, I think I should just get a delete action straight away. So on refresh the page and I'm not subscribed. Okay, cool. So I click subscribe. Great, this happens. I'm now subscribed. Cool. And that comes from this turbo stream response. Amazing. Circle back to that in a second because I'm still so excited about that. We're going to refresh the page. Great. So now we're in this code path here where we're already subscribed. So this should be button to unsubscribe, which should make it just a basic. Oh, is this turbo just grabbing all? Oh, is this turbo grabbing all post requests? So here, scroll right down. The next response I see should be a delete request. And that time it was. It totally worked that time. I may be just going... I may be totally missing that. That just worked first time. That's what I was asking. It didn't seem to work last time. Okay, I'm going to do that again from scratch. So refresh. Subscribe. Great, we get this. Oh, maybe it's because I did more than one. Subscribe again. Great, got another one. Okay, cool. Refresh. Now I expect the next request in the server to be the delete request from clicking unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Okay, this time it has worked, but it hasn't done the redirect. This time I've got the delete request here. Has it been deleted? Like if I load this in another tab. No, it wasn't deleted. Oh, was there a problem in the destroy? Redirected to 13. Still get the redirect, and then we still get the load. Okay, so was there a problem in actually doing the destroy? And then if I click it again a second time, does the destroy work? Yes. Delete from up here in the original, just delete. Delete from, so that's 56. It's 57. Yeah, are there two? Are there two records now after pressing it twice? Yeah, good call, Finian. Okay, great. So because I click the... Right, and what am I getting back here? Just the last one. Because we skipped... This is the problem of working on like the world's messiest code base because I never go back and tidy up midstream. I said midstream, like between episodes. So here we are only going to get the last one. Right, okay, of course, because you can only be subscribed to a channel once, but we said we weren't going to bother building any validation logic because who has the time for diligence when you're streaming at the weekends? Excellent, okay. So totally screwed ourselves over there. Who cares about that? That's just stupidity of not doing any of the work you would normally do if you were doing real work. So let's get back to the excitement of having things that appear loads of times. What? Great. So now we have a turbo stream that does cool stream things. Now, it is the idea now. God, notifications is a... Okay, so we could say, we could do a replace and... I mean, this would be so wildly specific. I mean, you just never do this, but we could replace the little bit where it was over in the top right, where it was incrementing that number up, the number of notifications, and we could replace that entire thing. So we could go from 0 to like 1 with a little bell in, and then presumably you can put that logic in the partial that goes up. So you could say, oh, we just don't want it to be the notification subscription, do we? We want it to be... like notification. Okay, so now that we know this works, can we just start to specify this? So could we pass... So this is just inferring in usual Rails style. This is only inferring the location of that create thing from here. So we don't need to give it that. Presumably we can just pass it whatever we want. Like don't go and infer this, go and do it. Or, okay, here, so what it's doing is we're not even bothering to do that. We're just doing it ourselves. Sorry, excuse me. And saying turbostream.append messages partial local. Okay, so we're doing all that work in an inline here. So I should have had a better use case this. What I was thinking was like, could we just replace that thing in the top right? So we could say turbostream.replace. And then we could just give it a special notifications thing. And then what do we get back from this? What do we get back from this? Do we actually get the notification? Because here we're creating the subscription, but the thing that we care about on the UI is the number of notifications. So I wonder, do we get back? Because you could get like a little thing and it could be like bing and show the bing, show the you have subscribed to X or something because it has the content of the subscription in. That'd be pretty exciting. So let's just pry into this notification gem that we're using, which is noticed from the other day, and see what we get back here. So let's jump back into. So just to take a quick press the pause button just for a second. What we've now got is a working turbo stream. So that's what we were missing before. Thank you, Finian, by the way. I didn't realize I didn't say thank you earlier for helping me fix that issue. So what we have now is a working turbo stream. And now what we're doing is moving over to try and like mess with it a bit. So the mechanics of this partial appearing are now being taken over. So by TurboStream, we didn't have to write JavaScript to say, for this, for this DOM ID or these elements or whatever, here's the formatting of them, go and replace them, do all that stuff, which is what we were doing with ActionCable last week. So that's where we started this stream. So if you remember, we had this bit of JavaScript here was basically saying, so this was doing the equivalent of that replace, because we were having to say, go and change that number for this piece of data. Whereas what TurboStreams is doing is it's wrapping all of this functionality, the action cable stuff, but handling more for you. So you don't have to get into the weeds of like, well, what am I going to swap out with the JavaScript and all the details and stuff. You still can, like ActionCable is still there for you if you want to go nuts and do that stuff. But my understanding is that I think TurboStreams just gives you like, who cares? Let's do the whole thing in server-side templates, and we will just pipe it over the wire this technology will pipe it over the wire for you. So I'm hoping that mental model I have is correct and useful in some way. So what we're going to do now is go mess with that a little bit. Let's go and see if we can play with this. So we're going to pry into this and we're going to refresh. We're going to unsubscribe, which won't work because I keep pressing it. Yep, great. So just keep pressing until you unsubscribe. Then we're going to subscribe and we should hit our pry. Whoa. What happened there? So here, if we do this, we get an instance of the notification. And then when we call this whole line, what do we actually get? Let's just call it X. And what is X at this point? Oh, it's just... What is that? That's user email. That's interesting. You just get back the... Okay, and it's done. All that stuff you get back the user as an array. Okay, none of that is what we want. So what we wanted was the first part, I guess. So here, make it this. We have the notification subscription. We have the user, the subscribable, and whether it's active, which we just pumped all of that stuff into these params up here. So could we pass this to the... I mean, we could just pass the notification subscription. It's got the same information. So could we pass this to a kind of... I should have thought through really what I want to actually come out of here. So turbostream.replace. That append has got a symbol there, but I'm guessing we can just pass this. Okay, so let's go and say that this is test account. We'll keep the same name. Okay, so we know this one works and it's going to infer where to get the information from. Let's add another one in. Let's add it above it. So I'm going to say format.turbostream. And we are going to say... I've literally already forgotten that syntax. I'm going to say turbostream. And do all of that, but we're just going to do replace on the end. Render turbostream to replace. And then instead of that, we're going to pass in test count. And we're going to say to the partial messages message. This is going to be, make this up. This is going to live in, oh God, I tidied this up. I actually have some time off work coming up and I said to my girlfriend that maybe I should do some tidy up. We do it live. We do it in like a homework edition of this and we could tidy the repo up and do some stuff. To actually kind of finish the app up rather than just playing with back-end stuff. So we could just say... We could have a little folder and we could call it notifications. I don't know. Let's just call it notifications for now. And let's put something in here. Notification. Again, I'm just seeing if it will swap out where the path that we expect. So we're not trying to get it to do anything fancy at the moment. So replace, and that is going to grab the partial at notifications. So we're not going to pass it anything. Okay, so now potentially what will happen is this will get replaced with the word notifications. Maybe. Again, I'm just trying to build up my mental model of... Okay, nothing happens there. That's cool. Oh, we're still in the... oh, it's still in the pry. So let's remove the pry because we're going to get stuck in that otherwise. And refresh this. Unsubscribe. Refresh it again because I can't remember what happens. Hit subscribe. Interesting. Okay, now nothing happens. Looks like I have got a typo. Notification subscriptions controller 7. Oh. It's like I've accidentally inserted a character in there, so now we can refresh this again. So error we've got now. What? Another typo. Notification description library 3 and create. Oh, did I drag the S out of there into that? Weird. Sorry, that's me clicking around too quickly. Come on, let's get. Yes, amazing, great. Okay, so we're really kind of cracking this nut. Okay, or I don't know if this is making any sense, but my mental model of how Turbo Streams helps me is like, this is what I was missing on the previous stream. I don't know how to describe it, but I really get helped by having a mental model of what's supposed to be happening. And from the original Turbo handbook, reading the Turbo Stream section, we just hadn't. It just didn't click in my brain, and then we didn't have the thing that we were doing with the ActionCable, and then actually, so I didn't have that model. And then seeing this doc here, I think we were reading the one. I'm not sure we were reading this one. I think we were reading a different one, and then like, yeah. So now this all makes way more sense to me. So if you're ever struggling with something, I know we often are kind of looking at stuff and exploring things on here. A lot of it for me is about generating that, like, I don't know how else to describe it, just like a picture in my mind of what is supposed to be happening. And the idea of these just being partials on different bits of the screen that are swapping in and out differently really helps. And obviously you're limited, you can only do the append, replace, like that all makes a lot more sense now. And the idea that you're now in full control at this point of what you want to render and when, and you can just start playing with your actual functionality. Like, this is actually a pretty poor example, I think, because this controller wouldn't be where, I don't think this controller would be where we would do this. I think we would do it elsewhere. But also I want to, okay, so let's go back to that broadcastable part. So let's finish this part off. Okay, so let's say here, we want to pass this. What was the last one? The locals. So let's just crop this in a little bit. We're going to pass it it's local rather than locals. Locals. And that is message. So this is just a hash, and this can be notification subscription as notification subscription. So in there, presumably we now have in here, we could say you are subscribed to notification. I just can't remember what the API for this is. What's a notification subscription? As subscribable, and subscribable in our case is always a channel. And what does a channel have? A title or a name or something? Doesn't say. Let's guess its name. Dot subscribable with an E. Come on, Max. Subscribable with an E, and we're gonna have name. You are subscribed to this. So I think if we pass it that, this is a bad example, I think, of using this, but I think it might work. So we can unsubscribe. I don't think we need to refresh. I think if we just subscribe now, you are subscribed to. Okay, so we didn't get. Do we not have that? Notification subscription should be subscribable. Does it have a name? Should probably check that you can actually do that on it. Let's pop our pry back in just for a second. See if we just check if we can do that thing and show it in the view. So in here we can refresh, unsubscribe, and here we can subscribe. Do we hit the pry? Yep. And with this, we get that. Subscribe with an E. Is that? There's no name. Okay, so if we just give channel 13 a name, oh, let's just Okay, come on. Right, so this is just do update name. This will do. Sunday Club. Let's call it Sunday Club. Sunday Club. God damn it. Great. Okay, so now if we do subscribable.reload, it has a name. So then if we drop out of the pry, hide the pry. Okay, this is all just fun. This is just playing around and getting our. Oh my god, that totally worked because I updated that thing. Oh my god, it said the Sunday Club. Oh wait, what? I hadn't even done that right. So subscribe. You are subscribed to Sunday Club. Did I change? Did changing that? No way. No, it's just because that was open. If I. What? No, sorry. 13. Dot update. Name. Test. Update. That's not going to change, is it? It says up there, you are subscribed to Sunday Club. Forgive the formatting. There is none. Let's take this over here and press enter. No, okay. I thought it had changed while we had the pry open though. So if we refresh this, unsubscribe, subscribe. Great. And then put the pry back in. That was there. The pry and update happened before the page rendered. Oh, did it re-render? I was getting super excited then. I was getting so excited. Something happened there though. Something's going on. So then if we do this, oh damn it, I've got to get out of the stupid pry. Okay, fine. Anyway, totally works. Very cool. So you click unsubscribe enough times for it to actually unsubscribe you. Click subscribe. You are subscribed to test. Oh, God damn it. Great. Okay. Unsubscribe. Subscribe. You're subscribed. Great. Okay, cool. Right. What? That actually has gone better than I thought it had gone. Let's go take a look back at broadcastable because that has tugged at my brain as something that we didn't quite get to, because what we were also looking at was this idea of using the broadcastable concern mixed into Active Record. You can trigger WebSocket updates directly from your domain model, and using the TurboStream's tag builder, you can render TurboStream elements in inline controller responses or dedicated templates, invoking the 5 actions with associated rendering through a simple DSL. Turbo itself is okay, so you can trigger WebSocket updates directly from your domain model. So is that basically saying you don't need to go through the controller? Because I think this is where we ended up last time. This is where I ended up getting confused. Because yes, we hadn't done right. I think this is how I got so confused on the last stream. We went straight here to the broadcastable section, which I think looks at moving things, like making things happen on the model. But I hadn't gone through the part of doing it from the controller yet. So I think I was trying to run before walking. Turbo streams can be broadcast directly from models that include this module. Great. This is automatically done for Active Records. Great. This is making way more sense already. This makes it convenient to execute both synchronous and asynchronous updates and render directly from callbacks in models or from controllers or jobs that act on those models, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, this is my memory of this. And then they picked a really confusing, like, it was like clearance and petitioner and examiner. And normally it's like, I don't know, blog and post and stuff like that. I was like, it's Sunday morning, and sometimes you just really need someone to hold your hand and guide you through the docs. Clearance. because then you're having to deal with like what the fuck is a clearance and who's what's a petitioner and examiner? Who cares? And I understand that it's agnostic, doesn't matter, but I was like, what's happening? And I'm also aware that it says it in the paragraph below, so, and it's great that they do all this stuff, but it's also confused me. This makes it convenient to execute both synchronous and asynchronous updates, great, and render directly from callbacks in models or from controllers or job access models. Okay, so or after create, commit, broadcast later. This is an example from Hey. Yep. When a new clearance is created upon receipt of an email from a first-time sender, that'll trigger call to broadcast later, which in turn invokes broadcast prepend later too. Yeah, and I remember. So broadcast was that, prepend was the action. Did we work on the front end? Yeah. Justin, are you are? There's Justin in the chat. No, Justin. I have got some time. I did mention I've got some time off coming. I haven't not committing to doing anything, but we're on lockdown here in the for anyone who's I don't think either of you two in the chat are in the UK. We're still on lockdown, so I've got some time off work coming up, and we can't do anything with it. So maybe I'll do that, but I also might not do that at all. So don't hold me to it. Right, come on, Max, stay focused. So we've got a model. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So the method enqueues a TurboStream's action broadcast job for the prepend. Okay, so that, which will render the partial for clearance, and it knows which by calling clearance to partial path, which in this case returns slash clearance. That have subscribed to updates using TurboStream from. Right, okay. All users that have subscribed to updates in Turbo using TurboStreams from. In a view using the stream channel under the stream name derived from. Oh, okay. So this is a bit more work. So the one in the controller was easier because you kind of got everything for free by the fact that you're already in a controller that can infer the template names and stuff like that. Because you're pushing it from a model, you need to have the view do the subscription TurboStream from. Okay, and this is just, I can see why I got so confused. I basically jumped to one section of the docs rather than trying to run through the process end to end. So this is the docs we were looking at, and it's I don't think this is that useful on its own without knowing how anything else works. Not that the docs aren't useful, just I didn't have the context for them. Okay, so what we can do here is trying to work on that notification subscription was probably not ideal, but could we put this in the okay, because the noticed gem already had like an ActionCable thing, which is great that it did that, but we got that kind of working a bit on our really weirdly on our own. Could we do something here where when we create this model, well, let's just replicate what we just did, but do it on the back end rather than on the controller action. So we could say, so we could take out this and just have this return like it was just returning a head created before, but then have the notification subscription model trigger something like a replace and just get it to do the same thing. So we can just reenact that same stupid use case, which isn't very realistic, but at least then we've got a model that we know we control, and we're just going to swap out doing it in the controller, and we're going to try and swap that to doing it in the model. That fine. At least we know we've got everything in place. So the good thing about that is we've already at the start of the stream built the built the little templates we needed here. So it's going to still infer the correct things, I think. So we'll have here, we can do .create. So is that what these docs are saying? This will render the partial for clearance. It knows which by calling clearance to partial path. So notification subscription to partial path should get you here. I am notification subscription partial. And this does a prepend. We were doing an append at the end. It doesn't matter because it's just silly. And send it to all users that have subscribed to updates using TurboStream from in a view. Now, how does this work? TurboStream from. Because it says in the view. Do you literally put it in, or does it automatically do that when you wrap one of these around it? Does that automatically subscribe you? I want that. Oh no, showing. No, I actually want that explicitly in the search. Whoa. Okay, is that literally the only place this is mentioned? Ugh. Why is it not mentioned in more places? Please help me. Okay. Okay. Great. So here it is. Right. TurboStream from current account. So current is the, so I can just use current user maybe? New end user will be appended to this target. Okay. Used in the view to create a subscription to a stream identified by the streamables running over the stream channel. The stream name is being generated is safe to embed in the HTML sent to a user without fear of tampering it as it's using signed. Okay. So if we do this, so in our view, we can just put it on the, we can put it on the channel as show view. Show lost. So in here, remember we had this silly blob here that we were using. So let's give ourselves yet more space. To Justin's point, no, we haven't worked on the front end. This is still very messy. That doesn't matter. So we've got our M12 here is just giving us loads of space. That's just margin. And then in here, we can add this in. So current.account. So can we use current user here? And then here, notification subscriptions. I'm just gonna remove this one actually because I don't really want to try and rather see an error if we've got some of the old code running. Notification subscriptions so let's assume it's going to need that div element in there as well. I'm not sure. Okay, so what does this do on its own? Does this work? Does it break? What happens here? Okay, great. So undefined method then for user. So it obviously isn't expecting a user to be there. What is that expecting? What is that? Identity clearances. The example above will process all TurboStream sent to a stream name like account 5 entries. When current.account.id equals 5. Updates to the stream can be sent like. Okay, so undefined method then for user. Where is then coming from? Stream name from. So it's trying to infer the stream name from user. It's okay. Do we really want to go diving around into active model or into streams. Maybe. Oh, is this? Oh, actually, are we already in here? Streams helper. What's this in? Stream name. Streams. Channels. Stream name. I can just close that because I'm not looking at it. Stream name 21. So streamables dot then. Okay, so we're passing in. I'm assuming streamables is what we're passing to this. Was the docs passing anything else before that? Oh, I've left them. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I'm just kind of moving around. I'll try and describe this when we get back. TurboStream from examiner.identity clearances. So it's only passing in 2 arguments to TurboStream from there. TurboStream from, and then it's not an array. What is dot then? Optional component of conditional statements, if unless when, never mandatory, but allows for one line code conditionals. The following 2 statements are equivalent if A plus B. Oh, okay. I have seen. Okay. I've seen that. Don't see that very often. That doesn't seem to make sense in that context. If you've got streamables here, why can you not? Okay, you're just trying to get... I feel like I'm already going down a little rabbit hole on there, which I don't really care about. Could we just pass something else in here? So is it... Does device do something to current user, or is that just an instance of a user? Or could we... If we pass it as an array, does it do something? So for example, if we do current user channel, see what happens now. Wait. Do we still end up in the same place? Stream name from on 21. Oh, okay. Hang on. Is it the second one? Notification subscriptions. Okay. Is it the second one? So I was thinking of... still trying to get it from user because it still does it over each one. Okay. How long are we on today? I'm just aware I'm going down a rabbit hole here. It's complete. Okay. Let's... And what happens if we just pass it the string that we... doesn't matter which one, I guess. Oh, okay. It just doesn't want to work with TurboStream from. Does that need to be within a TurboStream tag? Nice. It was in here somewhere. Sorry, bear with me. TurboStream from. Entries current account. Okay, so it's obviously bumping into something when it's trying to generate that. I think that's where we were just chasing it down. Stream from current account and entries. Divide entries. New entries will be appended to this target. Okay. I feel like we're doing exactly what it's asking there. I'm obviously screwing something up there. But I think we are ending up here. So that's jumping to signed stream name, streamables, which is calling signed stream verifier generate. Okay, so that's calling generate, but it's passing stream name from. And in here, when we made it an array, we still got the same. When we made it an array, we still got the same. What does stream name from bring you? Oh, because it's just recursive. It just goes. It just goes down. Okay. Okay, there is some Twitch spam in the chat, for which I apologize. Stream rules then. Interesting. But this is maybe something we can just do in console and see what comes back. So we have a user. Oh, can we just tag that whole line on? Undefined method then for user. Okay. Which is the error we're getting. And if we just do yeah, I'm not really sure of that syntax. Streamables.then, and it looks like it's trying to then passes the streamable through, and it tries one of those two things on. So either get me the to GID param or to param, like bring me back one of these values. Okay, cool. But why? Could you just have this? Like if you said, okay, I think that's the value we're looking for, which would be streamable is whatever this is, whatever some user, and then either try and get this or get the param. So I'm guessing this is the user.last.to GID param. Yeah, okay, fine. Which is the global ID. Okay, what the hell? This line isn't working for me. It's just one of those super helpful commit messages that really gets to the depth of really why that line is there. Moved from old repo 3 months ago. This is basically the equivalent of reading the Sunday Club repo. It's like work in progress did thing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Do we have to use this turbo stream from line? Could we, the example above will process all turbo streams sent to a stream like this. Updates to this stream can be sent like this. Okay, well that's what I want to. That's what I want to do. Could we? Can we just Google that error that we're getting and see if people Rails stream? What's the error? This is a stretch. Yeah, okay, maybe not. Okay, so I'm obviously... Oh. Has the behavior of... Is there a potential that this is a Ruby mismatch issue? Has the behavior of then changed? Such an awkward word to Google. It's like, yeah, looking for then does not have, I guess, dot then. No. Okay. Okay, that's super annoying. Do we need that at all? And can we work around it at all? Guess we could open the gem and overwrite it for now. Doesn't feel great. Although why not? We're just trying to get this working. Could we do... I've already forgotten where it was. Kill the server as well. Oh! Oh no, it's just the error. Streamables. But because you know it's not an array, guessing then just testing everything else. So I'm guessing this is a way to, because that could be anything at this point. So rather than dealing with all of them, maybe dot then is a way of getting you to have an instance of could that be enumerable rather than array? Or rather than, I know it wouldn't be as A, but you could say if we can enumerate over it. But here we don't really care. Let's just force this. Let's just see. Well, we just want that. Okay. Oh god, I said at the start of this stream we were going to go a little bit deeper. I didn't realize we were going to just start messing with the gem. Like, all right, we'll see if that works. Oh damn it! Oh yeah, this is my point. Okay, so streamable. Well, we know that we know it's a string because that's the only thing we've got, unless this code's used anywhere else. So. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, we can press on. God knows what the risk from that is. Web notifications channel is. Oh no! Is it because we're now? Oh no! We were using that for the ActionCable stuff. So now are they all returning the same ID every time? So that's like. No, that's not the idea we were getting back earlier, was it, from the console? Oh, damn it, I've lost it. Yeah, they're getting back. Oh, it's from the last user. Okay, so that's fine. And we need to pass the last user and the channel into this one. So then in, so this can go, we can close, I'll leave it around, put it on the other screen. Okay, I'm going a bit deep today. And then, oh, is it closed our other repo? It's genuinely hidden VS Code from me. There we go. Oh, it's down here. God damn it. And then I need to move that onto my other screen because otherwise it will. Other stuff. So then we want to do file. Recent this one. Great. Okay, cool. Sorry about this. This is I suppose it's mildly interesting to kind of dig around into the details of it. So in the view that we were working on, which was show, and in here we can have, so we want current user and channel. So I think we want to listen to that. Great. Now, how the hell do we know if it's listening? How do we know if it's listening? So let's go back to our server. Ooh. Okay. I think this is our channel. So web notifications channel is transmitting the subscription confirmation. So that is our one, that's our ActionCable code that we set up the other day. And then this one is our Turbo Streams channel, and it is, you can see here it's using a global ID here and a global ID here, and then notification subscriptions. Don't know if there are ramifications for that. I think it should be like using user dot or something, but let's not worry about that. So great. Ooh, great. Okay. Yes. Progress, sort of. I've already forgotten. The example above will process all turbo streams sent to a stream name. So right. So we now need to send this to the stream. So how do we do that? We need to do. That's at the top of here, wasn't it? Is it in like the broadcastable bit? Sorry, I've really lost the flow of this because it's just that issue made me just jump around all over the place. Okay, so this method in queue. So when we add something to the model, so we're going to add it to our notification subscription model. I think. After create, commit, sure, broadcast later. Great. And then we're going to add a method called broadcast later. broadcast prepend, we're going to do an append. Oh, we can do a prepend, doesn't matter. 2, and we're going to do, I think we have to do this. User, yes, and subscribable, which will be the channel. I think. And we can see if they're right. And then this would need to, oops. This would need to be notification subscriptions. So in here, we're saying stream from current user channel as an array, notification subscriptions. Here, user, that will be the channel because that is the subscribable, notification subscriptions. Really guessing at all of this. This method enqueues for the prepend, which will render the partial for clearance. It knows which by calling clearance to partial path. Send that to all users that have subscribed to updates in a view using that, and finally prepend the result of that partial rendering to the target identified in the DOM ID clearances, which is derived by default from the plural model of the model but can be overridden. Oof. Okay. So the idea now is that we could create a notification subscription in the back end and have the front end change. So, but it would have to be this user, whichever user I'm logged in as, this one here. I have no idea if this is even anywhere going to be close to working. So let's open up the console here. That's a good question. Finian asking in the chat, what version of Ruby am I running? No idea. It will be... .258. This is a pretty new laptop, so I haven't really done a lot in it. It will have been like, I've got 254, 258, 265, and 272 installed. And for some reason, this app is using 258. So do you think that was what was causing the issue with .then? We could check that actually by jumping over to 2.7 and checking it. But we've dived into the gem, which will be equally exciting for people to have watched. Right, let's go get the user we are signed in as. So we want a variable called user, and we're going to say that that is the user that we're signed in as. Then was apparently introduced in 2.6. Oh no, that makes sense if I'm on 2.58. That makes sense. I've got all these ones installed, but oh no, star is 2.54. Look, so current and default is 2.58. That'll be because some app I was working on needed that one. So yeah, we could just jump forward and have that fixed. Okay, awesome. I'm hoping whoever has stuck with this stream long enough, we don't need to change the gem. We just need to update our Ruby version. But that was a little interesting delve that you can do that kind of stuff if you want to go around messing around in gems. I do not do that in a day-to-day basis, by the way. That is not something that I would do on like if you're opening up the gem, things are happening that probably you probably shouldn't be. What am I doing? Right, get the user. So find by. So we're gonna try and. Finian, it's getting really late where you are, by the way. I'm just aware. This stream is going to run. We're going to do this, and then we're done for the day. So everything's worked out. I'm so excited. So we've got a user, amazing. Now we want to get our channel. So that's going to be channel 13. So this is going to allow us to get the right IDs to trigger those events. So that's going to be our channel. Great. So now we've got a user in our channel, and then we can set up. How do we do that there's a controller for this, isn't there? Notification subscription controller. Okay, so we can kind of swap these params out a little bit, can't we? So we can take this, let's just drop this in another doc. So this can be user, which this is just for our terminal. This can be, well, we actually don't, we were just messing around with, oh no, because I don't think we'd set that up, had we? as an association. So this can just be channel ID. This can be channel dot class dot name. Again, this is all just workaround. This is not stuff you would normally have to do because you wouldn't have bothered. You would have bothered to set your associations up correctly. Active is true. And then I'm just going to put this all on a one-liner so we can run it from console. So what this line is doing is basically creating a notification subscription, but it's using the models that we think our browser is listening for. So when it runs through and tries to create the event to tell the browser about, we want it to be the correct things. And so what we can do is pop our browser over here. And what do we think should happen? I think something should appear here. I think lost a bit of track because we went so far off road. Things happened. Amazing. Things definitely happened. Right, so we've got an action broadcast job. Are the jobs run via our normal queue? So let's just do that again. Yes. Right, we don't have our queue running, so let's get rid of that because we're not running our queue, which means we need to fire up a worker to run them. So if this is new to you as well, remember we installed delayed job. There's a whole stream about that, and you have a command which I just delayed job Rails. It's like worker run or something, like run. I don't know. You can just say I do this every time. It's like here with the script one. I don't think we have to do that. Rake jobs work. It's that. Oh wait, shit! I've just put Rails and Rake. Sorry. Great. Okay, so now we have a worker. So now we have a server here, which is rendering the actual pages. We have a worker, which is doing jobs. So we'll refresh this. This is going to set off our channel, which we think is listening to this one, I think is the one we're trying to get to. This is going to process our jobs. And we think that when we run this, it's going to create the job, then the job will get processed, and then an element will appear here, maybe. And I think we set the gap for our job worker rather than the default 5 seconds. I think because of demoing, I think we set it to like 30 seconds or something so that we could see it working. Might have to go and change that. That's doing thing. That's doing a thing. It did a thing. Right, amazing. Nothing happened, but really exciting. So this then ran our broadcast job. Did it try and do it on the right channel? Did it tell us which one it tried to do? Okay, so this is the argument that it took in. So let's just check these are the same. So this is, we'll just use this doc here. So that's the ID that it's trying to broadcast to. And then we go into our server, grab this, and just check they're the same. They are the same. Okay, so it knows it's trying to get it to the right place. Great. Did anything appear? What would be good is if we had something running in our console. Let's bump the font size up of this. Let's break this out into its own little window. Oops, jumped over to the other screen. And let's see if anything actually happened. So we can open this up. Let's try this again. So we think we should be listening. We can close these. So we've got a console tab and our network tab here for this browser instance. We're going to create a notification subscription object again. And we think, did we set everything up correctly? We think that that should then try and append. Did we tell it? Did we tell it to append? Just trying to think if we've forgotten anything. So we're not using any of that stuff. It's happening solely on the back end. Our notification subscription is broadcast prepend. Okay, well, let's putting it before. User subscriber notification subscriptions. And I think that is the name of the div of the element that's going to try and append to. And the thing that it will append, is it, should still try and append views, notification subscriptions, notification. So it should try and append this, I think. Okay, well, let's run it again and see if we get anything in the, so let's create that. Okay, let's run another job. Do we have anything in our browser? Nothing in network, nothing in console. Nothing. Okay, so we think that the job has run. Action target locals, partial. Right, so there's some sort of mismatch. There's something firing here. Job turbo streams action broadcast job. We think that is running and seems to be successful. But the listener here is not picking it up for some reason. How do you debug these? So I wonder if... And even as here, like the notification subscriptions, notification subscription, target notification subscriptions, locals, notification subscriptions, global ID. So the locals for that, is that only... Are the locals wrong there? Should it have both the user as well? But it did say when it ran the job that it was broadcasting it to action, target, locals. So it did have the correct ID here. So I'd be interested to know how to debug these. So because there's a real disconnect because you're not running through that controller. How do I know when triggering something from the model level what's happening? So after create commit, that's all fine. Broadcast prepend later to user and subscribable, which we think is generating the correct ID. Notification subscription seems to be pointing to the right partial. I think we're listening on the right channel, but there's nothing showing up. Ideally, we should expect to see that partial. Is it that we don't have the turbo stream? Right. Okay, so is this that we don't have the turbo streams thing wrapped around it? Going right back to where we started. Here. Sorry, I'm just trying to... Or do we not care now because it's running from the back end? Got so many docs page open. Just on to... It's the broadcastable one that I think I'm trying to find. Let's close that. We know why that is. We know why that is. We know why that is. That's the one we got working over the controller. Fine. Broadcastable here. This method includes which will pre-render the partial there. It knows that. Yes, fine. I think that's working. I think. Send that to all users that have subscribed to updates, which we think might be working. And finally, prepend the results of that partial rendering to the target identified with the DOM ID clearances, which is derived by default from the plural model of the name of the model, but it can be overridden. There are 4 basic actions. Okay. When it says it sends turbo stream action append, do we get anything in the server that's actually trying to... No, we haven't. That hasn't changed. So we've got something here. But we want to know broadcast append to. Do we have to do it later? Like, do we have to do that in a job? Can we do it now? Does that make a difference? Can we just, what is it? Broadcast prepend to. Just call that broadcast, I guess. Just take out all the laters. And then we can just skip this step and have it run. So then if we bring the console back up and then recreate our user, recreate our channel, and then create this. Rendered notifications. Okay, so it is rendering that and then broadcasting. I am the notification partial. It's not receiving it there. Right, did we need to have does it need to have TurboStream frames in the DOM ready to know what to swap out? Is that an issue? Sends TurboStream actions prepend to the stream named identity2 clearances. This sends this. Great. Yeah, okay, they're all sending those, but do they need to have one waiting for them? So if we doesn't seem to. It just says div ID entries. New entries will be appended to this target. It seems fine with that. Rendered notification subscriptions, notification subscription, broadcasting to this, which is the one that the other one is waiting for. TurboStream action prepend, target notification subscriptions. Notification subscription partial. And it's not like in the DOM, it's not changing anything that we're not noticing or anything. Like that should be here somewhere. Okay, so this is the DOM we expect to change. But nothing is coming through. Source, okay. That's not... Okay, that's a bummer. I think we're basically at time. It's been a long stream today. So close to getting everything working. So we've got basic TurboStreams working through the controller, which, as you can probably watch back, I'm super excited about. I think we've got really close to doing it from the model level. I'm going to jump this app to the new Ruby version so we don't have to put that patch on the gem, which we did, and see if that was causing the issue. And then I'm obviously missing something about getting us to append or prepend to this div, because I think that should be working, but I'm really not experienced in TurboStreams to know what we're missing there. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to promise to have a try. Let me jump back to the webcam view. I'm not going to promise to try and get that done during the week. I will try my best if I do get some time, but I've got a lot going on at the moment. And what we want to do is we're going to try and fix that issue, and then I think we'll call TurboStreams kind of like looked at, which I'm so glad about because I really have a better understanding of it after this morning. And then what we'll do is jump over to ActiveStorage and CDNs specifically, which is what I want to take a look at because I haven't really had that work. And I think what we'll do is try and swap out the thumbnails for the videos. We'll try and get some UI stuff done in there because we're doing that. And other than that, a huge thank you to everyone who dropped into the chat. It was lovely to hear from you all as usual. I hope you all have great weeks. Drop me a line during the week. Finian, I hope you go to bed. It's very late where you are. And have a lovely week. And we'll see you all next week. Oh, and drop by LRUG on Monday if you are interested. lrug.org if you want to come to the talk. And have a great week. Bye-bye.